role and to use private companies for the vetting process, raising alarms among Democrats and the national security community.
So as far as I know, the transition committee has not made that agreement yet. This has been something that's going on back to Eisenhower's days. And when you look at some of the nominees and some of the issues with them, not all of them, but when you look at it, you have to be able to find out what went on. Why wouldn't we get these background checks for the most important job in the United States government?
Joining me now, we have former FBI Assistant Director for Counterintelligence and MSNBC Senior National Security Analyst Frank Figliuzzi. Frank, welcome. Can you answer that question that Amy Klobuchar posed right there? Why wouldn't we get them confirmed, or at least, investigations from the FBI? Why not?
So with regard to asking that question of Donald Trump, the answer would be obvious. Be careful what you ask for. You might get it. If you want an FBI vetting process that tells you risk and threat, qualifications and competency and reputation, you're going to get it. And he may not like the answers. I think that's the chief reason he's avoiding it. With regard to why President Biden or the Senate Judiciary might want to do this now, I do have an answer for that. The answer is they can do it. And I've done the research, wrote a column last week for MSNBC Daily on this topic, went all the way back to Dwight Eisenhower, looked at the executive orders through history, through Clinton, through Obama, looked at two pertinent MOUs, memoranda of understanding between DOJ and Senate Judiciary, DOJ and the White House. And really important, a Presidential Transition Act of 1963 that says a president can request nominee background investigations from the FBI when nominees' names are announced. What's my argument? The nominees' names have been announced, and if Trump isn't going to comply with the existing protocols and practices, then we should comply with it and ask the Senate and the White House to request it now.
How commonly is that done? Since you said the 1960s, it's been able to. I mean, there was legislation that said go ahead and do this, but how often does it get done?
Yeah, so again, no legislation passed by Congress. That's one of those things you can add to the list, Alex, a long list of things that need to get fixed because of the previous Trump administration still hasn't been fixed. So we look at the intent of the executive orders and the MOUs, and the intent is clear. The FBI has been doing this since Dwight Eisenhower. It's required to have a government background investigation for employment and especially for a security clearance, which all these nominees will have to have. And if Trump isn't going to do it, we are flying blind in terms of the Senate Judiciary, who really won't have the benefit of classified information and files, intercepts, foreign entanglements, and business transactions. A private firm can do none of that.
Okay. I'm glad we've gone through that article that you wrote on MSNBC.com. Anybody can look that up for themselves as well. One more question, though, about with Matt Gaetz being out of the picture. Trump's picked Pam Bondi to serve as Attorney General. Bondi has a history of defending Trump. For example, when Trump was indicted 4 times after leaving office, she said, quote, prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. Any concerns about her becoming the country's top cop?
Yeah, I do indeed. Look, she's a real lawyer. She's served for 8 years as AG of Florida. She's been a real prosecutor. And nothing wrong with defending Trump. Everyone's entitled to a defense. Here's the problem. She comes right out of the chute as soon as her name is announced and says, I'll be pursuing the prosecutors. I'll be investigating the investigators. We're going after these people. She's forgotten already that as AG, her client is the American people, not Donald Trump. So, yes, I have concerns.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here to air them. We always appreciate that. Thank you, Frank Figliuzzi, and happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. So it is one of the most exclusive